Hope and fear are two sides of the same coin, and a lot of people, when you ask them why they started a YouTube channel, is really oftentimes super optimistic. But there's a flip side to that, and in this video I want to share my reasons why I started a YouTube channel that are all based out of fear. The first reason is that I want some freaking money. Let's just be straight up. I've worked a few full-time jobs, and even though full-time jobs are quote unquote secure, as maybe our parents would call them, they're not actually that secure. In the past, I worked a full-time job where I was laid off, and that really affected me and changed my outlook on jobs, because at that job, I had done everything right. I started off as an intern. I grinded my way through like 2 promotions. I worked on projects that won the company awards, which in turn gave them more clout, which in turn helped them get more clients. So basically, I did things that helped them win money. Despite all of that, when the company went through a little bad time, we lost a client and then they had to lay off people, and I got laid off, which sucked because I had done so much for them. In the end, I was disposable. I was just another data entry inside their HR computer. That experience really changed my outlook on, hopefully in the future, I just never want to depend on someone else for my livelihood. And this is why, YouTubers talk about, or people, social media, whatever, content creators talk about, you can make money off of this. Realistically, I forgot what the research is, but I'm pretty sure this thing functions as a pyramid where the top of the pyramid gets most of the money. Even though I say I want some freaking money, underneath the money, it's not even about the money. It's about a sense of control over my own life. The second reason is that I honestly can't do anything else creatively. Like, I've tried my hand at music, I've tried rapping, I've tried singing, I've tried playing the piano. Like, I've invested money into trying to learn those things, and a significant amount of time. It's not like, yo, I took 2 lessons and I stopped. I did at least 6 months. Let me back up. I think there are a few things to why I'm gonna say like I honestly can't do those things. The 3 things are consistency, talent, and progress. Consistency, spending 6 months on those things is enough. You gotta do that thing your whole life, right? I didn't do those things as a kid, so I'm trying to overcome that barrier of balancing everything else, like full-time job, social life, whatever. Yeah, but people say 6 months really isn't enough. If you make the time every day, over the course of your life, you'll be good. I definitely believe it's true, is that the more time you put in, the better you'll get. But creativity is not always like that, and the arts is not always like that. And there is something to be said about talent, which, dude, like, my voice just isn't pretty, and even if it could get to a point, like, I just could not, because of the consistency, like, I just cannot sacrifice other things to be able to make that time. And the third thing is progress, like singing, playing the keyboard, even drawing, which I tried, and painting. The amount of progress I saw just wasn't fulfilling. Like, it didn't satisfy me. Playing the piano, you go from 0 to 6 months, and you go from being able to not play a song at all to being able to play a song crappy. Like, I wasn't playing it well, but I was playing it like enough and crappy. Compared to photography, video, anything with a camera, it doesn't take much, right? It's not like a lot of finger muscle memory. It's like pressing a button, and the rest of it is just like your eyeballs. The first picture I took was really crappy, and then I went on Google and I looked up rule of thirds, and then I came back, and 5 minutes later, I took a pretty decent picture in 5 minutes, compared to 6 months of doing keyboard exercises and playing the song over and over again. And even with painting and drawing, I just couldn't sit down for that long. Like, it just hurt my back. Physically couldn't do those things because it ended up being painful to do those things. And on the topic of sitting, I think a reason I overlooked, but honestly why I am drawn to cameras, photos, and making videos makes me go outside. That really comes from a fear of being inside. I'm scared I'm gonna spend the rest of my life indoors sitting down on a chair. When I was a kid, I was like a real chubby kid that was super nerdy, when being nerdy just wasn't cool, and I wasn't popular and all of that. And I loved playing video games. I played video games from when there was like a Super Nintendo and the Game Boy, the fat gray Game Boy before Game Boy Color, all the way through all those iterations up until I had all the consoles. I had each one. I had like 360, I had a PS2, the last one of that. A GameCube was my last one, but I had like a DS, and then that transitioned into playing computer games like MapleStory. Spent so many hours on that, just so many hours on a computer. Like MapleStory, I remember I had the hacks and I taped down a button on the keyboard overnight so that it would keep like attacking the monsters while I fell asleep. And then I'd wake up and then the tape wouldn't stick. And then I'd be like, oh my God, having a camera makes me want to go outside. Honestly, even when I don't want to go outside, I look at this thing. This thing cost me like 1,500 bucks, all right? This fucking thing. So I look at it and sometimes when I'm hopeful, I'm like, oh man, like I gotta take this thing outside. Even when I don't wanna go outside, I look at that thing and I'm like, oh man, I spent so much money on that, like I better go outside. So either way, it makes me wanna go outside even when I don't want to, which is a good thing. Even playing sports too, I play basketball, well I don't anymore, but I used to play a lot of basketball, and even then, like that was indoors. Like I rarely played and didn't even want to play outdoors because I was super scared of getting hurt. Like falling on concrete versus falling on a wooden court is very different. And I just couldn't hit a jump shot outside. Yeah, so I'm just scared I'm always gonna be that kid again that's inside and then never goes outside. But don't get me wrong, I love being inside and I still love video games and all that, but I just want to have a little bit more balance in my life and be a healthier version of what I used to be. You know what sucks? Even with photos and videos, you still gotta sit down and edit them. So anyway, my back's hurting, so that's it.